It's Brother James Kelly, who's the president of Mount St. Joseph's High School, and here's his team behind us. And I am so happy to introduce him. Thanks so much, Jim.
Joseph team, I'm the president of Mount St. Joseph High School, and this is a cross-section of the Mount student body. They're all handsome and smart. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and I went through colon resection, colostomy, 6 months of chemotherapy. The chemotherapy wasn't easy, but I never missed one day of school. That's because of Irish guilt and the fact that 27 years ago, my sister had breast cancer, went through radiation, chemotherapy, and never missed a day of school. Also a school teacher, I couldn't let her get the better of me. So I survived it. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I'm a little cancer machine. I don't know how that happened. I was diagnosed with prostate, but I didn't get the slow-growing kind. Within 3 months, it was in my liver and my rib cage. It was hormone resistant, and so back onto chemotherapy. This time, really chemotherapy. I was on Taxotere, and it was kicking the living daylights out of me, but I thought I could will my way through it. So the day after I had an infusion was the first day of school, and I didn't want to miss it. So I go to greet the incoming freshman class and the other boys coming back to school. The next thing I knew, the business manager and a member of the board were carrying me to the nurse's office. I had fainted. I thought, ooh, maybe there's something more to this chemo than the last chemo. And as we all know, all of us who are many of our chemo survivors are out here. All right, you know it just gets worse. It doesn't get better. And as I was going through it, I had a meeting with my primary care doctor about something totally different. And in the middle of it, I was complaining about chemo, and he says, I know what you're going through. I snapped. I said, have you ever had cancer? No. Have you ever been on chemo? No. You haven't a clue what I'm going through. You doctors think you know everything. Well, you haven't got a clue. At that point, he pulled out a pamphlet for Hopewell. He says, I think these people might have a clue. You should read this. All right, I read it. Maybe I need this. I'll give it a try. I went to the opening introductory session, and I joined a group. The first group, I met Juanita. Juanita is my hero. Juanita has been on a 5-year journey with cancer. She's also had a stroke and gone blind. The woman is the feistiest human being I've ever met. Nothing gets her down. And I thought, boy, what an inspiration she is. Well, I got through the first couple of groups, and I thought, yeah, this is going to go all right. This is going to go all right. Then I met Patricia. Patricia and I were on the same drug, Taxotere. And at one evening, she said, I'm having a terrible time with Taxotere. And I said, so am I. And we started swapping side effect stories. 2 days after chemo, all she could do was go from the bed to the chair and back, and didn't go to work. And I thought, wow, yeah. That's the way it is. That night, as I was driving home, I had this incredible feeling of relief because I realized that, one, what I was going through was real, that I couldn't will my way out of it, and that I could endure it because there were other people who were enduring it. But I understood it. I understood it for the first time. People in a group at Hopewell are the people who understand they do have a clue. They understand the anxiety you go through when you're waiting for scan results. They understand the panic that you go through when you have a twinge somewhere that you haven't had a twinge before, and you've wondered if the cancer has gone there. They're the people who understand the embarrassment when you have a colostomy failure. Nobody else understands that. A few weeks ago, Bob joined our group. Bob is going through colon cancer, and he is in the chemo for that now. Well, I've already endured that, so I'm a good resource for him. He asks me questions. I'll say, yeah, that happens. Yeah, that's going to happen. how's your neuropathy? He goes, it's driving me nuts. I said, how about the cold? He says, it's driving me nuts. I said, yeah, I got to tell you, though, it's going to get worse, but hang on, you can get through it. In our group, there are 2 prostates, 2 colon, 1 uterine, 1 leukemia, and a couple of breast cancers. We're a nifty little group of cancer survivors. Okay. We're not, however, you think, a group of people getting together to talk about cancer. That's going to be grim. We do a lot more laughing than we do crying because we can kid about cancer. Those of you who haven't had it, you can't kid about it. Last Christmas, I had a friend, 2 degrees from Harvard, but no common sense, gave me a calendar of people showing off their colorectal cancer scars. I said to him, do you think I find this humorous? He said, well, I thought you'd find it funny. I said, if I wanted to look at colorectal cancer scars, I just have to look down. And I know what it cost me. But in a group, you can kid, because we've been through it. There's nothing that has happened to anyone that hasn't happened to everyone. And we laugh a lot. We just laugh a lot. I resent anything that keeps me from going to group. And as I said, I'm the president of a large boys high school, so things happen at night that I have to go to. And I always hate it when I have to miss group, because that's where my support comes from. The people who really do have a clue. And that those of us who have survived cancer, you know, the only people who really understand are other cancer survivors. That's what Hopewell has done for me, and I know for the people in my group. That's what you're supporting when you're supporting Hopewell. They take care of not only those of us who are going through cancer, but our families and our friends. They provide some just incredible support. So thank you all for coming out today. In supporting Hopewell, you are supporting all of us who are surviving. You are supporting our families. You are supporting a place where they really do have a clue. Thank you.